Watch out! Ah, he's got a cattle prod! Get away from me!
It brings back bad memories or something.
Yeah.
It's like college all over again.
Today we are looking at Aliens Fireteam Elite. We have the Steam version here on PC. Codes provided courtesy of Cold Iron Studios. Thank you so much, team, for letting us check this game out. I am joined today by my fellow Fireteam members.
I am Devon.
And I'm Andy.
Cold Iron was awesome enough to send us out 3 review codes to check this new cooperative PvE game out, and it's honestly been really fun. I was going into this game with basically zero expectations. I mean, the Alien franchise isn't known for having stellar track record when it comes to games. You have the one-off Alien Isolations that do really well, and then you have the Aliens Colonial Marines that don't do so well. And then we come to Aliens Fireteam Elite, and this one is, I don't know, this is really an interesting game.
Yeah, also going in with no expectations. I've had a ton of fun with this. It surprised me. I'll put it that way. It surprised me.
Yeah, zero expectations. Honestly, I couldn't care less for the Aliens franchise, but it really brought out a lot of action, and it actually gets me interested in actually watching some Alien stuff.
When they offered this review code to me, I went ahead and looked into the game, and I could see that a lot of people were comparing it to things like Left 4 Dead, and I honestly thought it looked a lot like Gears of War. Me and Devon had been playing through Gears of War in co-op, and it reminded me a lot of that with some of its mechanics as well. And honestly, I'd say they're fair comparisons, but the game itself ends up being unique enough on its own as well, to stand up to it.
It's kind of its own thing. Like you could see the inspiration behind the mechanics and stuff, but it does kind of feel like its own thing. It doesn't really feel like Left 4 Dead, even though that it has like the waves of enemies coming after you, and Gears of War with the cover system and blind firing and stuff like that. But it still has like its own identity, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of similarities with Left 4 Dead, like, and then in any other horde mode that you find in other games where it's like, an onslaught of enemies. But because of the unique angle Aliens franchise brings to it, dark corners, spitters, all these other different types of aliens, it makes it feel different. And I think that experience is very unique for this game specifically because it uses the environments really well.
I'd agree with you on that. There's been several times where I've had a few jump scares and creepy feelings just walking through areas that the enemies aren't pursuing us.
Wholeheartedly agree, and I'm probably the biggest pansy out of all 3 of us here when it comes to horror stuff.
Do we want to talk about the cat incident?
Oh, we definitely got to talk about the cat incident. We're in this one area specifically, and something was like making noise, and then our brand new little kitten jumps up and starts climbing up my arm as we are like starting this engagement, and it just scared the bejeebus out of me. just the yelp. It's just not a proud moment. But I think that's a pretty good segue to talk about some gameplay for the game. It's a third-person, action-oriented game while still retaining those horror elements that we mentioned earlier. But do you guys think third-person worked well for this one, or?
I actually do think that it works really well. I like being able to see, that broader view, seeing where your character is in relation to the environment. It does have a character creation that is cool. You get to personalize your character, make your own identity, and being able to see that avatar on screen is kind of entertaining, especially when you start getting different guns and different colors and stuff, and being able to view it on the go instead of having to open up a menu to look at it I think it's appealing.
Fair enough. I'm not gonna lie, I was really surprised this game actually did have a character creator, because, I mean, it seems like a game of this style just has, like, pre-made characters that you play through the game as, typically. I mean, going back to that Left 4 Dead example, you had your 4 survivors in each of the games.
Yep.
Yeah. I would say for the third-person aspect, I think what you said about the character is true. I also think if you were stuck and locked in first person view, that would make this game like 20 times harder because there's so much going on around you at any given time. There's not only just the enemies, but like traps and environments. You might be like getting yourself stuck against the wall. There's just so much that happens around you. And
That's
then this,
true.
because the game uses audio cues a lot, it helps to just have that, be able to look behind your character to see if something's like crawling up on you.
True enough.
Yeah, yeah. It is pretty fun looking down at your radar and just seeing a wave of white with a few green and orange coming after the middle where you are. That's pretty stress inducing in a good way.
Very good way. So any fans that are familiar with Aliens, they had that motion tracker, so that is included in the game. It gives you a front field of view on motion detecting of enemies that are coming in, so you have to rotate your character to be able to get it to see enemies that are going to be coming in from the sides and behind. And then the colors represent different classes of enemies, so the white dots are just your standard enemies, and then green, orange are more advanced enemies. And as you start progressing through this game, no spoilers, but like you start running into some really intense stuff, and when you see that different colored dot up here, you know you're in for you just know you're in for a time.
Yeah. One thing that I do like about this, speaking of being overwhelmed, the weapons are actually really cool, especially with the classes that you get to be picking which one you want to go into your loadout, knowing like which weapon would work better for which enemy type, and whether you want those enemies to get close or if you want to keep them further away depending on your play style is it's pretty fun.
Yeah, I love that there is a class system in this game. You can change between at any time. At launch, there are 4 classes. There's the gunner, doctor, demolisher, and what was the last one? Tactician? Technician, yeah. And so each one has their unique abilities. Demolisher's got like rocket barrages, Technician can deploy turrets, the Doctor can heal people, and then the Gunner has grenades. And we've been playing as the different classes. I'm maining Gunner at the moment. Devon, you're doing Demolisher, Andy's doing Doctor. And it's been a really fun dynamic, just seeing how all the different abilities can go together to tackle these levels. And it's already been announced that new classes are coming out as the game advances through its life cycle. So they're actually going to be releasing a new character class on September 8th as part of a free update, and that adds in the new Phalanx class. And I don't have any other information about that one at the moment, but the fact that they're just going to be expanding the game with free and paid content, it looks like the paid content's mostly going to be cosmetics from what information they gave me, while most of the main content is going to be part of free updates. As far as this first update goes, like that new class is free.
I'm curious to see what else they'll add, if they're going to add more
Yeah,
chapters or even scenes from other movies and stuff.
yeah, that'd be cool to see some content like pulled directly from different movies. Like that would be cool, because I mean this game has a fully original story.
Yeah, it does.
I'm not gonna lie, I've been having a harder time following the storyline in this one, but the gameplay is definitely keeping me entertained, and I want to go back and actually listen to more of the story, because I mean there's a lot in here. There's tons of hidden intel to find. There's conversations to have.
A lot of lore is thrust onto you. The beginning of the game kind of gives you a little bit of information if you're kind of new to the franchise. It really doesn't go super in depth in certain aspects, and other aspects it does. But finding that intel really does open up the world a lot more to the player if you've never really delved too far into the Alien franchise. It really gives a lot of background on the different companies and just the reason why there are the Marines or the fire team that you're in. I think that it's actually a pretty good way of giving information.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's definitely been fun seeing some of the nods to the franchise. Like I think they handled it pretty well. I mean, I'm not the biggest Alien fan, but I like what they've shown. And again, I haven't even really been paying the most attention to the story, which normally I do, but I just really been enjoying playing it.
Moving on to the next mission.
I just really been enjoying playing it.
Yeah.
I like that each mission, like there's 4 missions technically, but each one's broken up into 3 chapters, and then we can return to the hub world between each chapter to, well, like you're in the ship, you're in the Endeavor. It's the name of the ship you're in when you play this game, but I like that you can come back here, equip the new weapons that you've unlocked, new modifications for your guns, new skins, and different things like that. And I mean, in today's gaming environment, like, it's always about like these skins and customization things, and it's fun to be able to unlock so many just by playing it and not necessarily have them stuck behind a paywall like other free-to-play games.
Yeah, that is something that's been pretty fun for me, is trying to, completing a level and seeing what reward I'm going to get for completing it, trying to find those hidden caches to get, a little bit extra, whether it's skins or actual attachments, something that can help you, customize your weapons even better, getting modifications to your skill, just kind of the horde mentality of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And can we talk about how cool it is that you can equip like these special abilities on like a Resident Evil 4 style grid? Like, that's been really fun.
Yeah. It definitely has.
It's actually been really useful. Like, there's, at least for the one class that I've been using, which is the doc, mostly, like, it's, like, for example, the healing node ability, which is the main healing ability, I can either have it so that it heals more and wider and reduces damage, or it heals less, but gives you the rest of the team faster fire rate and faster reload speed or something like that. So there's not always a really easy choice, and you can always flip it around between missions. And on top of that, you also have those little cards, which kind of throw the whole thing
into, man, yes,
into a mess. A good mess.
The challenge cards are amazing.
Yeah, the challenge cards are amazing. They're little modifications that you can throw down on the table, if you will, during matchmaking, that can benefit you in more than one way. Whether it's making the mission easier and allowing you to complete the level faster, or making the mission a lot harder, but being able to get a nice bonus from it.
Yes. It's very risk and reward for some of these things. And I mean, this is not an easy game. Like, it starts off making you think it's going to be pretty easy sometimes.
Yeah.
But as we've progressed through the campaign, like, the difficulty has ramped up. And I mean, there was a night when me and Andy were trying to beat a mission without you here because you weren't able to hop on that night. And we couldn't do it. Like, you get an AI third teammate, and that AI was no slouch. Like, that AI was still doing, like, as many kills as you normally do. Like, you're usually above us in kills, and it was beating us in kills still, but, like, we could not beat that mission until you logged back on. Like, it was crazy.
And that's really the human aspect of it. Like, if you have human partners, this game it'll still be a challenge, but it'll be a good challenge. But if you're going in this alone or, like, without a full team, there's going to be struggles. Like, the AI, like you said, the AI was no slouch. I honestly think it was more of a positioning and communication. Like, if that bot actually knew where we were, what we were doing, and, like, was more aware of its surroundings, it probably would have been okay. But because it's a bot, they can only do so much. We can't tell the bot, hey, look up behind you, there's some
yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. One thing that I noticed as well is I played through one or two missions by myself just to experience the AI, the bots. And they do put in some work, but I actually lowered the difficulty a little bit just to help me be able to get through some of the ending areas, because it was pretty difficult not being able to communicate and being able to strategize with my teammates. And the thing that I noticed as well is that they don't get a class. They just get weapons and a few grenades, and that's about it.
And you also brought up the other good point that there is selectable difficulty levels in this game. When you first started off, you could choose between, like, easy, normal, hard. I believe they're called casual, standard, and it's intense. There it is. And then after you beat the campaign, you unlock the extreme and insane difficulty. And kind of like Destiny, there's a combat rating that your character and class get as you equip new abilities, new items, and different things. And so each mission will have a recommended combat rating before you go into it. And as you increase the difficulty, that recommended combat rating starts jumping up quite a bit, and then there's different aspects to the game that are unlocked by the difficulty as well. So when you're playing through on casual or standard, you can't hurt your teammates, but there's no friendly fire. Once you turn that up to intense, you start having friendly fire penalties, and when you go up to extreme and insane, it increases those up to full damage against your own teammates.
If you're looking for a challenge, you can have a really tough challenge and really have to strategize. And then for those of you who just want to go and kill some aliens and not have to worry about that stuff, you can put it on casual. You don't have to worry about friendly fire. The aliens don't deal as much damage, but it still can. You're still going to have the jump scares. The environment is pretty creepy. You're going to have a ton of fun playing with your friends and still have that challenge there of the horde rushing you, and you'll have a ton of fun. However you want to play, it's really fun.
I think that's really the most important part of it to me, is like this game can cater to a lot of different play styles and experiences because of that.
Yeah, I think the pacing of the whole game, like, it's always pushing you to do, like, you said it earlier, like, when you finish the stage, you come back, you get your stuff, you look at your combat rating, can you go to the next one? If not, you buy stuff, you move on. The game is always pushing you to get better stuff, to keep improving, to go on to the next one. You unlock more stuff the longer you stay with the certain gun or not. So that's the cool part about it. But the one thing that I think that's impressed me like the most, like, the graphics are great. Like, don't get me wrong, this is pretty good looking for what it is. But it's been the audio. Like, it's not only is it important, it actually sounds pretty dang good. Like, there's some good music tracks. A lot of the stages have that eerie feel. Like I said, I'm not a big on aliens movies, but I've seen them, and it's very reminiscent to that. And just having, if you have like surround sound headphones or whatever, I mean, you hear things crawling up behind you, up on the walls. You're like, wait, what? They're on the ceiling now? Like, there's a hole behind you. You're like, are they coming out of the hole right behind me? There's a lot of directional audio that comes into play, which is really cool. And even on top of that, there's the weapons too. Like, I think the first rifle you start with is pretty much the same one that they had in the Aliens movie, if I'm not mistaken. And it sounds just like it. So, I mean, even though it's kind of worthless, to be honest, but, like, it's like, there's a lot to do with the audio. Like, even the impact, the string sounds that happens when you get a headshot on an alien.
Yeah, that's nice. I like
that.
Very
satisfying. Yep.
Very satisfying.
Yeah.
Especially when you're using a precision weapon. I nailed that headshot. I nailed it.
Yeah, you're kind of forced into the Magnum as your secondary with the Doc for a long time, and hitting Magnum headshots is like, this feels so good.
Yeah, it does. Feels really good.
Behind?
Something big just growled at us.
Oh gosh, it's on me! It's on me!
Oh, where are you?
Oh, there we go. I'm down.
I blew you up. Oh, I'm gonna die. Oh gosh. We used up one of your lives.
Fine.
Oh, I'm out of ammo.
Watch out, it's coming!
Ah, it's on me! Ouch.
Oh, on me? No, never mind.
You ran back.
Behind us, up top. I got him. Okay, I really need ammo. Really bad.
Go back. I'm running back to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, this game's not going to win any awards for its graphic prowess. It doesn't look like the best of today's top-tier games graphically, but I mean, I don't think that really matters. It conveys what it's trying to do, and it does it well enough. And I mean, the animations are pretty cool for the most part. Like, I really enjoy watching the aliens charge at us, especially when you can make one stumble and it just slides across the floor.
Yep, that's what I was going to say, is the alien movement is done very... It's creepy. It has that look, like they nailed that movement, I think, and even the way that the aliens the different types of aliens that you fight each has their own style. They just nailed the movement, the way that the aliens interact with the Marines. And
let's all just share a quick what's our most favorite thing about the game so far, and then just a complaint that we also have with it as well. So, Devon, lead us off.
All right. So one of my favorite things is the weapons and stuff, like being able to just the leveling system, I guess. Being able to pick and choose what you want and putting the modifications, like specific modifications change the weapon actually pretty decently, in my opinion. The one thing that I do kind of I wouldn't really call it a complaint, it's more of a wish, is that I wish that there was a way that you can to chase that specific perk that you want or on your mod. Like for me, it's more ammo for my smart gun. That's the one that I've been looking for. That's the ones that I've been putting on that specific gun, even though there are other things that might give it more damage. I just want more ammo to push out the damage. So that's the one complaint that I have. And again, it's not really a complaint, but more of a wish that there was a way that you can do that, even through like maybe mod cards or challenge cards.
And how about you, Andy?
Well, a good thing that I like, I kind of already touched on it a little bit, but basically the levels. Like, there's only so many environments that we've encountered, but they offer so much for every subsequent playthrough. Like in one stage, a hidden cache might be in one area. You play it again, and it's in a different area. There's also all the intel that's hidden all over the place. But it's just, it adds to the replay value. Like, some enemy placement is a little bit different. Some, you might get an alien pouncing on you from one angle, and then you play it again, he's from the other side. So it's just little subtleties like that. There's also a lot of details. Like, in the recent level we played, they had, like, a lot of overhead stuff inside of the environment. There's, like, pipes spewing steam. There's, like, things dripping. There's like machines whirring and making noise. It's a lot of ambience, and it adds to the character of the game. So I've been really digging that part. Even if the graphical fidelity isn't like 4K high res super awesome, it's still really good for what the game is. And as far as something that I haven't been really liking, or I don't know if it's a dislike, but it's something that's kind of weird, is the cover system. Like, for 80% of the game, you don't really use it because you're fighting aliens. You don't need cover for the aliens. There's, I guess, I don't know if it's a spoiler or not, but there's androids you fight. Those guys you need cover for. So I find it more restrictive as far as like my playstyle and my class. And it wasn't until we got to that stage with the androids that it became actually necessary, I would say, for some of the firefights.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it. 20% of the game, and that's all you really need it for. It hasn't affected my gameplay. I forget about it, that it's even there, until I have to vault over something, which is another thing that's kind of annoying, that you have to go into the cover system in order to vault over something, and it's not always obvious whether you can or can't.
Oh, yeah.
Not until you get like super close to it. That's my
Yeah,
complaint.
when you get close, it finally tells you whether you can vault over something or not.
Yeah, well, there's been a couple times where that's caused a pause for us.
Mm-hmm.
There's some places where things are hidden, either in intel or a cache, that you have to go up a certain area that you wouldn't normally do so, because again, you don't really get told this information until you're actually like right next to it. So it promotes exploration, but again, the cover system seems really, really wonky, especially with the enemy types.
It seems almost out of place for most of the game.
Yep.
Most of the game. The other thing I forgot to mention too is every once in a while you will have an alien hiding in a place that was not intended to be hidden, like behind a wall.
More like in a wall.
Yeah. Yeah, and that happens every once in a while. It's not really game breaking. Like, I just use my rockets and shoot it, and it blows up behind the wall.
At least not for us, thankfully. It never stopped our progress, but
yeah,
definitely something that could be addressed in a patch.
Yeah, But yeah, this game really doesn't, at least in my opinion, doesn't really have too many negatives. Like it is what it is. It has its own identity. It's got a great weapon system. The class system is awesome.
What I've enjoyed most about about the game is just the co-op experience. Because this type of game, I've never found this type of game good solo. Like, whenever I'd play Left 4 Dead or Horde mode in other games, like, playing them by yourself is awful. And it's been a blast just playing this game with you guys. Like, this has been really fun. I think one of the things that I would choose to criticize about it personally is the grind aspect of it. So, I mean, I can see this game being a bit repetitive for a number of players out there because of that. Like, you're going to be replaying the same levels over and over and over and over again. There's 12 levels to choose from out of the 4 chapters, and then Horde mode. And so, I mean, you're going to be seeing a lot of the same stuff unless they choose to add in new DLC chapters and levels and things like that, which I imagine they probably will. So, I mean, that's just one thing in my mind to be aware of. If you know that seeing the same stuff over and over and over again in subsequent replays is going to wear on you, this one might be that. But if you love that, awesome.
Yeah. But I was gonna say though, the price of the game for what you're getting is, I think it's actually worth it. That's what I was gonna say.
Well, that segues us really well into, do you think the $40 price tag for the base version of this game is worth it? And for Devon, you say yes, right?
I say yes. I say yes because, one, if your games nowadays, like with Sony and stuff, their first party stuff, they're going up to $70. You know, that's almost double of what this game is. You get to try it out. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you know, you're only out $40 instead of 60 or 70. I think it's worth it. You know, especially with the amount of time that we've put in. We've put in several hours. I think that the time that we've put in together, the fun that we've had, yeah, it is worth the $40. I think that it is.
And just as a side note there is a deluxe edition basically available for the $70 price tag that comes with the season pass that's going to have all those extra cosmetics and other things that haven't quite been announced as of this time. But again, the base version of the game on all platforms, I mean, this game's going to be on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Series X and S. That base version is only $40 across all of those. And it is a pretty good deal in my mind, especially if you have a group of friends that you know you're going to be playing it with. Like, and I think that's where the is it worth it question pops into my head. It's like, if you have that group of friends, I definitely think the $40 price tag is worth it. If you're going to be playing it solo, probably not as much. Yeah. Wait for it to go on sale. For the $40 price tag with a group of friends that you know you're going to be playing it, absolutely worth it. But what about you, Andy? Worth the $40 price of admission?
I would say straight up yes, in that we've already dropped like 8 to 9 hours out of roughly a week, or not even a week, 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun. It's a lot of collecting if you want to do that. There's a lot of action if you like the action. There's a lot of story. If you're into the story, like there's a little bit of something for everyone. Again, I will echo that if you are gonna be flying this solo, you're going to be hurting for good buddies. But there is a matchmaking system. If you do decide to get the game and play it solo, please use the heck out of the ping system. That's what makes it probably bearable with playing with random people. And I wouldn't be surprised to see like people like going on forums or Reddit or whatever, trying to make fire teams of their own, you know. I need 2 people, let's get on Discord, you know. It's only 2 people. You're not trying to find an entire guild to take down a raid boss. It's just 2 other people. So in that aspect, you know, I would advise to just plan for this purchase if you're gonna be getting it, to have some buddies at the ready.
All right, but I think we've shared our piece with Aliens Fireteam Elite here. There's definitely a lot more to the game that we just couldn't fit into this discussion time we were given. There's actually a lot that we'll need to cut out of this discussion.
Yeah.
But, like, closing statement, it's definitely a fun co-op game to play with your friends, and definitely worth it in our minds. And I think that's really the key takeaway.
Yeah, it's a good Alien game. That's what it comes down to. It's a good Alien game.
Yeah, it's nice to see the franchise get 2 winners out back to back there.
Yeah.
No colonial marines here.
Yeah, I definitely got a lot of the vibes of playing Left 4 Dead and Borderlands multiplayer, like for the first time. Like oh, that's so cool, sharing that moment with other people.
Oh yeah, definitely. But thanks again to Cold Iron Studios for providing these 3 review copies for us here. Big shout out to them. Great work on the game. Definitely a winner in our books.
Yep.
But Devon, Andy, thanks for joining me here today to discuss Aliens Fireteam Elite.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And that is our take on Aliens Fireteam Elite. Again, awesome co-op game. Thank you again to Cold Iron Studios for sending this one out for us to test out. We've been having a blast and we'll be continuing to do so and look forward to seeing the post-launch roadmap. And for those of you out there that are just looking for an awesome co-op game, again, cannot recommend this one enough. Just been so fun to play. And now just a big thank you to all of you that have made it to the end of today's impression/review video. This is a new format that we're trying out here on the channel, and I'm really liking it. And I mean, it'll just improve as we continue to do so, and I think this is just a perfect game to start off with. Just, again, so much fun. But what did you all think of the style? Is this a style that you're interested in seeing more of, or should I go back to the more structured reviews, or a mix of both? As far as games are concerned, I mean, love hearing your thoughts on it, and just really going off of what you all have to say. I think we've taken up enough of your time today. Thank you, as always, for watching. Even a single minute of videos on my channel here really helps us get this place to where we are. We just hit 20,000 subscribers, and I'm still mind blown by that fact. Like, just holy cow. Thank you all so much for the ongoing support and bringing us just that much closer to hitting all of our goals. Just so close, everybody. So close. And that's because of all of you. Thank you so much. So, do you have a couple of favors to ask right now? Hit that thumbs up, thumbs down, just depending on how much you like today's video. And if you haven't done so already, hit that sub button so you can see when new videos like this, tutorials, walkthroughs, or any other random nonsense I like to put out goes live. Goes a long way to helping us out, and we're just super grateful to all of you for that. Now, if you'd like to further help support the channel, you can also click that join button here on YouTube, or check out that join button in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen for Patreon. A little really goes a long way to keeping this place up and running, and for this video in particular, all of my backers are getting access to the original cut of the audio. This video is already in the half-hour range, but the original audio-only release was actually an hour long. We discussed so much of it, dove deeper into some of our own core playstyles, that just couldn't make the final cut of the video, unfortunately. So, backers, you guys can listen to the audio-only version and just hear all of that extra stuff we had to talk about scattered throughout the entire runtime of the vid. But thank you so much as always as well for just being our friggin' champions, you friggin' rock stars. Y'all are amazing and keep us going. Thank you so much. But that's gonna really do it for this one. So until next time, my wonderful internet peeps, you all stay awesome and we'll see you back next video.